Hey guys, here we are in game 2 of this best of 3 between Nerdnic and Nereities. This is on GSL Terminus Re, and we can see Nerdnic is spawning in about the 9 o'clock position as the red Terran, and in the 6 o'clock position we have the blue Protoss Nereities. Now, if Nereity wins this, he'll be able to tie it up, but if Nerdnic wins it, he will be able to knock out the only remaining Protoss and still remain as the only remaining Terran in this tournament. And he is the shining light of hope if that is the case. Now, last game we saw Nerdnic go for some Banshee pressure, and he followed that up with a nice timing push with Siege mode. He had a very good amount of Marines. I think it was about 20. And he was really able to take the game quite easily after cooping Nereities up in his base for quite some time. So it looks like Nereities going for a little bit of an early scout, wants to know what's going on. And he is not going to scout in the right direction. Nor is our friend Nerdnic over here. Looks like he is going to wall off his base, looking a bit like last game, but it's only the first 2 minutes here, so, you know, can't read too much into it. Nereities looks like he's opening pretty standardly here as well, going for that gas. Yep, there's that assimilator. Can't really tell much from this, except he's obviously not going for a Forge Fast Expansion or Nexus First type of play. So this is going to be a little bit more standard and a little bit more safe. Just looking at the map a little bit, it could be pretty easy to block this off with a forge, gateway, pylon wall, with some photon cannons to back that up, but obviously not the safest thing to do. But we do have that gas for Nerdnic as well, so this game is really looking a bit like last game, so it could turn out pretty similarly, but you know, tech can switch pretty easily after the first 3 minutes of the game. So, but I don't know if either player scouted each other yet. It looks like Nereities is just going to be getting in his opponent's base. Is going to see this no add-on, but he didn't get into the base and he doesn't know about that gas there. And he could be thinking maybe he's going for a fast expansion, or maybe he has a couple more barracks in there, which is something a little bit more rare, but you know, a lot of Marine play really early on is actually surprisingly effective against Protoss, and is actually being used a little bit more. But it looks like Nerdnic will be able to get in his opponent's base. Yep. Nereities didn't wait for a stalker first. Oh no! A critical misstep. Nerdnic actually, oh, that was terrible AI. He got stuck right here from, oh my gosh, from that zealot. That was just so unfortunate. He is completely clueless. So I think the best thing for him to do would probably go for some sort of aggression that would allow him to scout. Looks like he's just going to send out another probe, but if Nereities just moves down the ramp, it's going to be another lost SCV. Poor little guy. And it looks like the scout is denied, but I do believe that Nereides saw all these Marines, so he's going to expect there's not an expansion down, because how can you afford an expansion with all these Marines out? And there is that double gas, so I think Nerdnic is going for the same build. I think that's a smart idea, because he beat Nereides pretty easily with it last time, so he's saying, alright, well, I know that this works well against this type of player, so I'm going to try to execute it again on this map. So that's a good mindset right there. But we do have a sentry out, so Nereides is safe for now. We do have that robotics facility going up, so it's going to be a 2-gate robo. A very safe build. Looks like gateway research did just finish. And in the meantime, Nerdnic has stopped Marine production. Oh, was actually throwing down the command center more quickly this game. And he is going to be going just for normal siege tech. Okay, so I kind of like this. It's a nice way to just be able to abuse the fact that you really put your opponent on his toes early in last game. So you kind of have that mindset of your opponent's a little bit worried, might not want to move out of his base, so you just sit back and take your expansion, but do so in a nice defensive manner with these tanks. And actually, I think he's going to be going for more of a mech transition, which, you know, mech versus Protoss can actually be very good when they are pretty warp gate heavy. So I'm interested. I'm kind of pumped to see how this is going to play out. Getting the engineering bay, he does have a good amount of Marines. It looks like he's still pumping those out. So he might as well upgrade those, and he can also get that early turret to stop any type of Dark Templar, or maybe even the less common Stargate play. But it looks like he did spot that, and he did move his Marines out. You can see uh, the little waves there in the map. But oh, we got an early robotics bay. He's going for an Immortal and then a Colossus. This could actually be really deadly. Wow, this is just a really good unit composition because the Immortal is going to do so well against tanks. But the Colossus is going to rip through the Marines, obviously, and if there are good force fields, it could be lights out for Nerdnic. And he is going for this expansion, so he is not going to be as prepared as he could be. And this could get ugly pretty soon here, but Siege Tech is finished, so we can go ahead and get a nice defense going here. Looks like the Colossus is about halfway out. He might pump out another to get this extended thermal lance done, so that, which is a really critical upgrade because, you know, it makes the Colossus range go from 7 to 9, which is pretty huge. Siege tank range is of course 13, so it's not like it's going to outrange the siege tank, but you know, it's going to do a lot. It allows you to stay safe behind your stalkers and really abuse the enemy's units that are behind force fields that you might have to get a little bit closer to shoot at. So always a good idea to go for the extended thermal lance. Very important upgrade. One of the most important upgrades in the game, but especially as a Protoss, it's a no-brainer. Looks like he's going actually for a second observer. It's good to be scouting around, but if you're going for a timing push like this, I really think you should just go for it and not have to sit back and waste your money on more observers. But did he lose his observer? Actually, I think this turret might have taken it out. I don't know. I can't. Yeah, it looks like Nerdnic was able to get rid of that observer, and so now Nereities is pumping out this other one. A nice scouting supply depot down here in case we have more prism shenaniganery. But a missile turret going up in here as well, so being very safe in his playstyles. Nerdnic. And Nereities is really not feeling good about what he sees here, so he is just going to go for this expansion now. But he has to do some sort of damage. He really teched quite hard. He's going for charge, so ooh, I do like this composition actually. Charge lots with a good amount of Colossi, even 2 or 3, really does a good amount of damage. So if he can try to abuse that and get a nice timing going, I think he might be able to do a good bit of damage. If not, take the game. But Nerdnic has had this expansion up for quite some time. See what he's added on. He's added on a starport, and he's still pumping out. He's getting a lot of tanks. So the longer Nereities waits, the more tanks he's going to have to deal with, and that's never easy. If you spread your charge lots out, you're going to be able to take a good amount of hits, but if you clump them all up when they're running to the tanks, they are going to die so quickly, it's not even funny. So Nereities can micro this well enough, I don't know, but he is a little bit far behind. He's going to have to either take an early third or go for a really strong push, but you can see he's a little bit undersaturated. Nerdnic, on the other hand, is doing quite well in that sense. And we can just see the unit composition here. We already have 8 tanks, that is 10 tanks, which is just a lot of tanks. He hasn't lost any of this game so far, obviously. So he's just been able to build those up. The only thing, I think he's going to need a little bit more Marines, because if all your Marines die, your tanks obviously aren't very mobile, and they can't really maneuver, especially when they are sieged. So it's going to be a little bit. Oh, but wow, we had we have 2 starports making Banshees. Oh my gosh, and late game Banshee play is such a smart idea. Not only can you focus fire down units really well with a high number of Banshees, but you can even harass if you'd like. Because your opponent is feeling safe. He's like, alright, it's 15 minutes into the game, and my opponent hasn't harassed me. I'm fine. And then 4 Banshees come into your mineral line, and you're just panicking and sweating, and it's not a good situation. You never want to be sweating when you're playing StarCraft 2, that's for sure. But it does look like the command center, which will be the third, is going up for Nerdnic. So he's just playing really safe, but Nereities being smart about it, saying, I know my opponent has had up his expansion for a good amount of time. I have to take a third as well. He's just getting a lot of tech, which is actually scary against a Terran, especially when the Terran is not going for ghosts as we see. Oh, but it looks like the Banshees are back at the mineral line. He's just going for pylons, trying to be annoying. There goes down one Stalker. And Nerdnic's going to need to pull back. He does take out 2, so very nice. Very nice play right there. It looks like they were both on this recruit Banshee soon if he gets 5 kills. Maybe he'll be a general or something. I have no idea what the Banshees ranks are, so I'm not even going to comment on that. But we do have some Hellions as well, which do give nice map control. And another expansion. Oh my gosh, Nerdnic, you are just out of control with your macro right now. If we go to the income tab, we can see he's really far ahead. The Harvester, well, that's not even really that close. It's 9 ahead, which is pretty significant. Plus he does have those mules. And he's spread out pretty well, so that's always going to help. But this is just a scary force in general. This is just nothing any opponent wants to see of any type of race. So, but this is actually sizing up to be pretty strong as well. These are charge lots, mind you. And we do have 4 Colossi. If he went, double robo, so he could go for a lot more immortals if he does see. I don't know if he's seen all of these tanks, so I'm not sure what Nereities is thinking exactly. But double robo all the way, what does it mean? Oh, just picking off everything he can, doing a little bit of hull damage to 1 Colossus. I think he's picked off a lot of Stalkers, which is so smart, because how are you gonna deal with my... Okay, I guess he's just gonna deal with it with Phoenix. So very smart play. Wow. It looks like we got a battlecruiser. I did not even see that coming at all. Where is that fusion core? Obviously starports with reactors, but oh my gosh, here we go. Okay, fusion core is operational. Battlecruiser operational. Okay, sorry that was bad, but looks like he's not getting any of the upgrades. He's not going for Yamato Cannon. Get Yamato Cannon. Looks like he's just going to pick stuff off with the Banshees. Very nice. I'm not sure how Phoenixes do against battle cruisers, but my guess is not too hot. Oh my gosh. So much damage. And he is going to need a lot. Okay, switching to Void Rays. Definitely a good idea, because you can easily charge up on a battle cruiser. Unless Yamato Cannon's used, so be careful of that. But looks like Nerdnic is moving out. He does want to make a final push. I do think this is everything he has. He's going to be safe here. Going to abuse this cliff. Nereities, ooh, see alien, but that was a nice scout. Saw everything Nereities had and saw his positioning. Looks like he's just going to go right into it. It looks like, oh, the Zelts are just melting as I go right into the tank line, and it looks like we did get a couple pickups, but it's not going to be enough. The battle cruisers are shooting down everything, and the Colossi are actually ripping up, but not enough. Nereities being very mannered. Good luck in the finals. It was just too much for him. He sat back too long and let Nerdnic go out of control with macro. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. It looks like Nerdnic is going to be in the finals, the only Terran. And it is going to be 2 Zergs in the other match of the semifinals in this round of 4. So it's obviously going to be a Terran versus Zerg, but which Zerg, we will have to find out. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys.